Hey guys, what's up, and welcome back to another Koze Daily Brew. Today I wanted to talk to you guys about letting go of control over my job. I wanted to talk about this today because I feel like it's been a little while since I've updated you guys pretty much on how I guess things are going with my job, being that my job obviously is YouTube, and it can kind of stretch and branch, or I guess umbrella, over quite a few different things. There's my podcast, there's books, there's definitely the YouTube aspect of things, social media in general, blogging, writing, all that good stuff. It all kind of feeds into my job. And then of course there's Koze, there's building the brand of Koze. And so I would say just in the recent 6 months, it's been for 2019 that I've built a new team that has been helping me. And so a lot of things have kind of shifted and changed on the back end of things when it comes to work. And so with that change, it's basically also in a lot of ways ignited an ability, or a need, I guess, more than an ability, to be okay with letting go a lot of the controls, because up until now, or at least up until 2019, I did most of my job myself. I edited everything myself. I created everything myself. I just did it all by myself. Even when I was first doing all things Koze and I was sending out merch, I literally did it myself, and through blood, sweat, tears, and many breakdowns, was shipping out like items from my old apartment by myself. So I've learned a lot of things along the way, and one of the biggest things that I feel like I've learned is that it really does take a village to build your dreams. And it's not even just taking a village to build your dreams, but I also think that when you find the right people, that village also is not only building your dreams, but in turn, you're helping build other people's dreams, and helping build other people's, like, life, not even life resume, but I guess like everyone's kind of helping each other out in a way. And so I guess that's the first thing I should jump into when it comes to letting go of control in terms of my job in the last 6 months and just in general lately. And that has been in creating a team. I have chosen to create a team in a bunch of different ways. And not only that, I feel like almost in a lot of ways, it kind of chose me. I think that things tend to naturally unfold the way they do for a reason. And so it just so happened that I stumbled across a few people in the last, I would say, year that have really made it different for me, that I'm able to now actually grow and expand everything that I'm trying to do. So letting go of control and letting other people help me is something that I've learned that I'm not very good at. And I think that stems from a long history of, I guess, kind of waiting or hoping in a lot of ways that people would show up for me in life, especially when I was like younger, and then just learning that when it didn't happen, that I could just do it myself. And that is a healthy thing, I think, to learn in this world and in life, but I also think that it can be detrimental if you become so self-sufficient that you actually don't allow other people to help you when you really do need the help. And one thing that I kind of had to learn the hard way, I think in 2018, when I was constantly just going burnout after burnout, is that I couldn't do it all myself. Not if I wanted to do everything that I dreamed of doing. And so opening myself up to letting go some of that control to allow other people to help me has been a huge learning lesson for me, because it's not something I'm good at. I'm not good at being like, hey, can you do this for me? And then hoping and trusting that, that delegated task will be completed in a way that, one, I'm not annoying the other person, because that's a big, also just like, that's just like a self-conscious thing of mine, but also two, it's done in a way that actually, like, I would do it myself, or similar to the way that I would do it myself, And so that is something that has definitely been a learning process for me this year. In terms of how I've actually built out my team, I don't know if you guys listened to all of the podcasts in June when I was doing interviews, but I actually interviewed 2 people that are on my team now. The first one is Larissa, and this is an update that you guys haven't heard yet, or at least maybe I haven't fully dove into yet, and I can totally ask her to do a video together if you guys want to hear us both explain everything, but here's the short form version of it. Larissa is officially managing me, and in the sense that she's starting her own out of office management and like PR, communications, and she is helping manage me and manage all the projects I'm doing, and helping me manage even just building up this Koze brand. And so in working with Larissa, she's helping me work with, partnerships. She's helping me work with just like a wide variety of things. We're working on just so many different little projects, like book tours to potential, retreats and meetings and meet and greets, sorry, not meetings, but it's been really fun to just kind of like sit down and be like, this is my vision, and to team up with somebody who also shares that vision with you, shares that passion with you, but then at the same time brings their own skill set to the team, you know? And so there's things that I am really good at, but there's things that I just have these big holes that I could use some help filling, like even in terms of just communications, working through sponsorships, working through contracts and things like that. And so Larissa, those are her assets. Those are things that she's incredibly good at. And she's all about, you know, taking something and building it out and learning how to properly communicate a vision or an objective. And so we came together and decided that it was something that we would want to basically work on together. And so that is the first member that I guess I'm explaining to you guys that has joined my team, and it's Larissa. And it's been so fun so far. We are very, very fresh. We've been working on a few little things over like the last little bit, but like we're really hitting the ground running this summer. Like it's the beginning of all of it. So that has been the first big shift and change, and it has been so fun. The second one is Mike Kelly. And if you guys listen to my podcast, I interviewed Mike Kelly on my podcast about how to create content that is authentic. And Mike Kelly is actually the person that edits these Koze Daily videos. He also edits my podcast, and he sometimes helps edit my main channel videos too, although I tend to still like to edit those myself because I love editing. And so I just keep a little bit for it, you know? I keep a little bit on my plate because it's just, I love going into wormholes on Final Cut Pro. Anyways, so Mike Kelly is my editor, and he's also someone that helps me film. He also helps me gather photos, sometimes in Toronto when I need the help. But he's also just a really talented and very, I guess, what's a good word for it? I want to say wise. He's somebody that has really good opinions on things and a really cool perspective on things. So not only is he an editor that has been added to my team, but he's also just a really good friend and a new asset to the team too, in the sense of having a new perspective, having someone to bounce ideas off of. And me, Larissa, and Mike Kelly will all come together and we all do powwows, and we work through basically how to create or how to take a vision and how to actually implement it and create it and bring it to life. And so those are the main ways that a lot of my team has been built lately. And then there's also Zoe. And if you guys picked up the most recent copy of Feels, then you will have seen Zoe's work before, because she helped me create and design the inside of Feels, and actually the outside of Feels too. Zoe has been helping me on and off for a little while now, and she is someone that helps me with a lot of design projects. And she's also a huge asset to the team solely because she is such a creative head herself. She's also a photographer, and so is Mike Kelly. I'll leave all of everyone's on my team's link down below, by the way, if you guys want to go creep all of them, because they're just insanely talented people. And honestly, as weird as it has been, learning how to open myself up to going from working completely by myself and for myself to working with a team, it's also been one of the most like incredible situations, because I really have been able to link brains with so many cool other brains on this planet. There's been a harder avenue in which I've had to learn how to let go of control in terms of my job, and it is in the thoughts or the things that people think about me. And that's just like a really, really honest, I guess, confession, is that I recently realized, or I guess not even recently, I think I've just over the last few months have really been shifting and changing my content, because I've been trying to actually create content that I feel really good and passionate about, and do so in a way that I'm not creating for the validation of anyone outside of myself. And that has been a harder thing to let go of control of, because obviously I clearly care about what the Koze crew thinks, you know? I'm always gonna care about what any of my viewers think, because I love you guys. And I feel like this really has turned into a community. I feel like we have known each other for years now. And so in learning and knowing so much about each other and have going through so many videos, so many live events together, it's really been, I guess, not a struggle. I don't want to say it's been a struggle, but it's definitely been a challenge, and it's definitely been an obstacle of mine to work through and untangle. Kind of at what point it started to get complicated when I was creating content and stopped kind of just creating it for the sole love and passion of it, you know? And so I think that it's been hard for me, because I think with any change, the minute you shake things up and change things, we as individuals and we as human beings, we normally don't like a lot of change, because, you know, we don't like the, I guess, proof that time is happening, or the proof that time is passing. And so I think that when we find something we like, we never want it to change. We want it to stay exactly the way it is. And that can be really hard when you're on the creator end of things, because I think that sometimes you can limit yourself, I guess, in a lot of ways to this framework of how you're supposed to create, but then that really limits your ability to evolve and grow. And so I have struggled, I think, a little bit with taking into account the opinions that I'm reading and seeing about myself, and then finding a place for them, because it's really hard when you're reading things about yourself that aren't maybe the nicest things in the world, and asking yourself, or having that second to ask yourself, like, is this actually like constructive criticism, or is this just someone that's maybe having a bad day and maybe kind of directing it towards me? Or is it maybe someone that is just connected with an older version of me and doesn't connect with this version of me? Or is this someone that I should even, is this just a stranger that I should just let go of like what this is saying, unless it's actually helpful in some way? It's funny because before 2019, I went to Jane. I've talked about her many times before, but she works at the Rock Store here in Toronto, and she does tarot readings, and I just love her because she's a warm soul, okay? And you go and you get your tarot reading by her, and even though she's doing tarot, a lot of the time she doesn't even flip cards. She just like intuitively has these conversations with you that I always walk away feeling really just, I don't know, I just feel really light, and I feel really confident and trusting in my journey, I guess. And so I like getting around intuitive people, and so I love going around Jane, and every season, or maybe every other season, I will go get a reading from her and just talk to her about things going on in my life. And beginning of 2019, I went to a reading with her. Me and Larissa both did, and we went right before the new year, and she literally has predicted this year almost to a T. Guys, it's insane. And one of the things that she had said was that this year, with all of the changes that I'm making, there are going to be some people that are going to leave me behind, and there's going to be some people that aren't going to like it, and that I would have to learn to let go. And it would either be like an excruciating learn how to let go if I tried to hold on to it, or it could be a really good and cleansing learning lesson of letting go if I just, let loose and stop trying to hold so tightly onto what was and be open to what is coming and what already is. And so I think that the biggest lesson, or another big area of my career that I've had to let go of, is my, I guess, insistent want or insistent need to make everybody happy. Because at the end of the day, of course, that's what I want to do. Of course, that's what we all want to do. We want to make everybody happy, but we physically cannot do that. You cannot be everybody's cup of tea. You cannot be everybody's shot of whiskey. You just can't. It's just impossible. No matter what you do, there's always going to be someone that disagrees or sees another perspective or another opinion. And also, no matter what you do, the minute you put yourself out there in the world, the minute you put yourself out there in any kind of way, you're basically opening yourself up to criticism and to judgment. And learning to be okay with that it's hard, but it's definitely important, because it's thickening up my skin, and I think that that's super important because I'm a sensitive person. But that's not to say it hasn't come with a lot of difficulties and setbacks for me. I think that there's been a lot of hesitation from me this year, and I've noticed that there's been a lot of moments where I've second-guessed myself and I've doubted myself, and it's come from struggling with the fact that there are people that aren't liking what I'm doing. And that's hard, because even just, evolutionary as a human, we all want to be accepted by the pack. We want to feel like we are included. We don't want to feel like we are shunned away. And so it can be hard when you're feeling that threat of people not liking you. It can get down right into your survival, like your fight or flight, when it's someone is just, shunning you or telling you that they don't like you or don't like what you're doing. And that's a hard pill to swallow, and it's a hard pill to swallow gracefully when you yourself are also kind of going through like okay, I'm trusting that I need these changes, but I'm also like hoping and praying that I'm doing the right thing. Now, there are things that I do have control over, like, my happiness and my own sense of self-expression. And both of those things, are actually things that I feel I get checked off in my everyday life and with my job. My job makes me really happy. Creating with you guys makes me really happy. Sharing makes me so happy. Writing, just all of that. Just creating content, it makes me so freaking happy. And not only that, it allows me to express myself. And those are two huge things, and two things that I don't want to ever let go of, but also two things that I do have control over, and I'm so thankful for. But the minute that I, focus on the things I don't have control over, like what people think of me or whether or not someone likes me, I let go of my happiness and I let go of my self-expression to try and now control something that I absolutely have no control over. So it's definitely boiled down to that. It's boiled down to, do you hear Bentley's nails right now? Come here, buddy. Basically, what I'm getting at is that I've had to learn to let go of those things that I truly just don't have control over, and stop telling myself or tricking myself into believing that I can control those things, in order to allow myself to open back up to my own sense of self-expression and my own sense of happiness, and also just my own sense of curiosity. You can't take life so seriously, you can't take change so seriously, and things are bound to change and grow. And when you stop holding on so tightly. I think it makes it a lot easier to open up and just kind of have fun with life and realize that nothing is permanent. Everything is kind of, shifting and changing all the time, and that's totally okay. Not only is it okay, it's meant to happen, and it's meant to help you grow. I've had to learn to let go of seeking that outward validation in order to feel like what I'm doing is right and what I'm doing is good, or what I'm doing is cool and creative and awesome. It's hard because I didn't realize, I think, how much I really had put all my eggs, or at least a big chunk of my eggs, in that basket of, is what I'm doing cool? Is what I'm doing creative? Is what I'm doing resonating with other people? And I was really focused on that for a while, and I think that it kind of clouded my judgment, and it clouded my ability to see why I was doing the things I was doing and what I was creating and why I was creating it. And so now that I'm back into a zone of kind of self-expression in my own way and creating in order to validate myself, I feel like I've really opened up, I think, a new pathway of creating with people, or connecting with people through the things I'm creating. And that connection feels stronger. That connection feels more real to me. And it's honestly one of the most amazing feelings in the world. So it sucks because I definitely think that the things that have been hard to let go of and the things that have been eye-opening for me they haven't been easy, even though I'm sitting here talking about them with a big smile on my face. But I'm talking about them with a big smile on my face because of the outcomes that have come from having to push myself through that discomfort has meant that I feel more connected and I feel more in tune with my life, and that is huge, I'll leave you guys with this one little last thought. There's a quote that says, once you make a decision, the whole universe conspires in order to help you, accomplish it. And I think that that is so true. It's just, if you sit in indecision for too long, which I think I have done far too long in my life, is sat with this in between where I kind of, I don't fully commit or fully decide what I'm trying to do, and I'm trying to do too many things at once. It makes it a lot cloudier and a lot harder and a lot, there's a lot more miscommunication. But I think once you fully decide to stand by yourself, once you fully decide to open yourself up to being uncomfortable and getting outside of your comfort zone, I think that the whole universe really does conspire to help you achieve everything you want. When you have good intentions, when you're just trying to live your authentic, blissful happiness and truth, then it's really easy to kind of let the judgment fall upon deaf ears, and it makes it a lot easier too for you to just actually take reign on the things you do have control over. And that has been the biggest lesson, I think, in all of this and all of the change and in all of the updates that have been what's been going on with my job. And so it's only been 6 months in, and I think that it's one of those things that in any kind of big shifts, especially when you're like trying to build a team, it definitely takes a lot more time to see it come into fruition. And even that in itself is another lesson for another day maybe, because I think that, in this day and age, it's very often that we want things in demand. We want things to be ready right away. We want things to be perfect and just, set out and just like done. But I think that in order to kind of really get a groove, like an authentic, real, organic groove when it comes to living your best life and chasing your passions and chasing your career, it kind of has to come with some time and some discomfort and some setbacks, some mistakes, some lessons learned, and ultimately just some good old messy living. And that's the joy of all of the things that come from letting go of control. So there you guys have it. That is an update on kind of all the shifts and changes that have been going on with my job and things that you are really going to start seeing or noticing as time progresses. You've already started to see it without really knowing it with these Koze Daily Brews. Having Mike Kelly on my team, I wouldn't be able to upload these videos every single day and do the podcasts and do my main channel and do Koze and do everything else I'm trying to do and have a personal life and a social life. So thanks to my team, there is the ability to bring more content to you guys now. And now the biggest thing that I'm working on is bringing it back to, now that there's new people on the team, and I've basically implemented the new people onto my team, now bringing it back to the side, because I do hear you guys. I hear you when you say that you feel like there is still like a weird shift in connection or whatever. And so I'm tuning it back down into also making sure that when I come to sit and film with you guys, whether it's a Koze Daily, whether it's a vlog, whether it's a podcast that I'm recording, to make sure that all of this shifting and changing that's happening all up in the background isn't making me feel shifty or changey or like kind of lacking focus when I'm sitting and hanging out and chilling with you guys. And so that has been the main priority now, is making sure that all of these changes don't shift the connection in which that I stay open and vulnerable with you. And that's it. That's the latest updates. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's Koze Daily Brew. I know that there have been a lot of opinions, so I'm a little hesitant to ask on what you guys think about all of the new content and the new shifts and changes, and if you're starting to see how things are rolling out. I think you'll really start to notice once the series start to go back and forth between this channel and the main channel how everything is meant to be, but we're still kind of in the beginning process, so just bear with me and trust. And aside from that, I will talk to all of you guys in tomorrow's Koze Daily Brew. Bye guys.